Infinite walking in Bonelab. A new game, a new challenge. I will be infinite walking, redirected walking, all of Bonelab. No joystick movement, and that doesn't mean I rebind it to the touch pill either. Here's proof that I deleted it from the rebind menu. And as a spoiler, yes, this game is possible to complete without a joystick. And so are these other games I've used infinite walking in. Watch them. If you want to find out what redirected walking is, click my channel and look at those videos. But in short, walk here, spin there, spin here, continue until dizzy. I completed the game before attempting this with the joystick, but I couldn't figure out if I could get the full campaign without resetting it. So I wasted about 30 minutes of walking only to find out that I needed to reset the game. Starting the game for real, this time with the full campaign, I was only a little bit frustrated that I spent an amount of time on nothing, so I went a little faster than usual for walking in this game. Since Bonelab is a sequel to Boneworks, it has basically the same player controller. It even allows you to jump gaps just like Boneworks. Well, it's a little different. This will become important later. Now, I may be stupid, but I'm actually just slow because walking is slow. Moving in video games is about 5 times faster than you would do in real life. And yeah, I could sprint in circles to save an hour or two, but walking is already hard enough. And unfortunately for me, Bonelab also inherited the sparsely detailed environment of Boneworks. You'd hardly notice it when using the joystick, but when you have to take in everything with your eyes and your legs, it becomes easy to see where there's not detail. Take the main lobby for example. If this were a real place, all the experiences would be much closer together to minimize the time between places. The only reason for them to be spread out like this is to make the puzzle work. And the puzzle is just to go to the door. I skipped pretty much all of them immediately, and to be honest, they're all kind of half-baked ideas. And I wasn't about to go through all of them with the joystick. Why would I do it with walking? Finally finishing the puzzle with the worst controlling crane I've ever used, and can get to the next area. Most of the gameplay of me is not that interesting to watch, so to demonstrate that, here's footage of me walking to the end of this area. While we're here, I'll say it is hard to explain how much more immersive redirected walking is compared to the joystick. Traversing areas has a lot more meaning and purpose. If I see something I want to go to, it's no longer just a push of a thumbstick. Now it takes real concentrated effort to move. But it's more than just trade-offs. Objects have this sort of presence or physicality they don't have with using the joystick. Same goes for the enemies, if they weren't so dumb. This is because something death, something dead reckoning, something 3D. Once you get past the spinning and dizziness, of course. Okay, finally I get the avatar thing, and now it's time to go through them. Stunk is Stunk. There's not much to say about this. Since the joystick doesn't apply here, I'm going the same speed, maybe less recoil, maybe more punching power. Fast. Fast is slow because I'm slow. She's a little bit taller than Stunk, so the distance I need to travel is less, but it's not by much. Her section did give me the real first challenge though. The big gap. In Works, I could use gaps to skip sections, however I didn't know of a skip at the time, nor did I want to walk back to find one. The problem is, Bonelab's player controller is less forgiving for these types of gap jumps. It seems like the momentum dries up when I stop moving, so I tried many times to get across. What worked in the end was not only running and jumping, pushing the jump button, but also had to redirect mid-jump so I can continue with speed. And my play space was only just big enough to get across this gap. Dank. Dank smash. Dank also shoot at range enemy. I probably could move faster with redirected walking than with the joystick. Dank also gets stuck in the elevator for some reason. A cat is fine too. But actually it's not, because I'm so short and the gravity's so low, I can't walk anywhere at a comfortable speed. Thankfully, they put these pads here to skip this. I drive. Her arms are too short. Lanky. He tall. With redirected walking, he's also the fastest character due to the height. But everything else is so awkward to do, so I'll just stick with fast. With the key, I can now pass the lobby and continue with the story, where I can drop all of these avatars except fast and tank. If there was a graph on how much people use each avatar, I bet it would look like this. Look like this. Each avatar has their abilities, but switching between avatars is more than annoying. Each one has a different arm length and scale and size. And they have the arm warping system, which makes it feel like my hands are on self-extending selfie sticks. All of these combined make doing anything from shooting and puzzles real annoyance. And I have to learn like where 5 different pockets are and 6 different avatars, and I'm talking about avatars again. I basically only use tank to push balls and fast for everything else. There's this one part where the tractor beam makes Death Gap crossable. I was a little worried about how I'd get across this, but I just kept walking the direction I wanted to go and it worked itself out. The real part I was worried about is the treadmill section. Remember, I can't use my joystick, and after analyzing the area, I found a pipe that crossed over the treadmill. But I still had a little less than half of it left. There was only one way to get across this. I had to run. Now, redirected running is possible, but just look at that. This is a video of a man suffering. At full tilt in the lanky avatar, I was just barely faster than the treadmill. Thankfully, after crossing it, my headset died, and after restarting, my game was broken. And guess what I had to do? I had to do it again. But this time I was already out of energy. I could not bring myself to run anymore. So I had to work smarter this time. And during my entire playthrough, I have forgotten about the slow motion button. Having this brain blast, I applied it to the treadmill, and it worked. I just needed to walk at a brisk pace to get across. There's not much to say about these last sections. This train section is too long for walking, and I can say my ass clenched every single time the train passed. There's one part where I think joystick input was needed, which was pushing the car at the end. I was able to push the car with manual redirected walking, but the car didn't start. I did push the joystick, but it did nothing for movement, so I count this as not using the joystick. And it did start the car. At the end of the game, I accumulated 7,828.3 meters of walking. Some of those big, some of those small, but almost 8 kilometers is how much Boneworks is. This was over the course of 4 hours, so it was about 2 kilometers an hour, which is slower than Grandma, which is pretty cool. I think I'm one of the first to complete Bonelab in this way. Also Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks, and H3VR. I feel like this could be applied to speedrunning or something. Oh wait, no, they banned it. Let me know what I should redirect next time I decide I want to wreck my legs. And no, VRChat is not a game. It's a lifestyle.